Karma never sleeps, a law of the universe. You didn't arrive here by chance. Right now, in this very moment, you're experiencing the echo of choices made long ago. Some by you, some by others, all interconnected in ways your mind cannot fully grasp. The universe keeps a perfect ledger, and karma never sleeps. But here's what most people don't understand about this cosmic law. It's not about punishment or reward. It's about awakening. If you're ready to discover how every breath you take is both consequence and cause, then subscribe to Whispers of Dharma right now, because what you're about to hear will change how you see everything. Let me tell you about Marcus Chen, a man who thought he had outsmarted the universe. Marcus was a pharmaceutical executive in New York City, commanding a corner office on the 42nd floor. Every morning he'd look down at the ant-like people below and feel nothing but superiority. His company had developed a life-saving medication for a rare childhood disease, but Marcus saw opportunity where others saw suffering. He convinced the board to raise the price by 4,000% overnight. Supply and demand, he'd say with a cold smile. It's just business. Parents mortgaged their homes. Families went bankrupt. Children went without treatment. Marcus bought a yacht with his bonus that year. He named it Inevitable. Meanwhile, across the city lived Elena Rodriguez, a single mother working 3 jobs. Her 7-year-old daughter, Sophia, had been diagnosed with the very disease Marcus's company treated. Elena worked as a night janitor at Marcus's building, cleaned houses during the day, and delivered food on weekends. She never complained, never cursed her fate, never blamed anyone. Every night she'd kneel by Sophia's bed and whisper, "We'll find a way, mi amor. The universe provides." But the medication cost more than Elena made in 2 years. She started a crowdfunding campaign, sold everything she owned, even considered selling her blood. Still, it wasn't enough. One December evening, Marcus worked late, alone in his office. The building was empty except for the cleaning crew. Eleanor quietly emptied his wastebasket, dusted his desk, and noticed a photo of Sophia taped to her cleaning cart. "Beautiful daughter," Marcus said, barely looking up from his laptop. "Si, senor. She's sick, but she's strong." Marcus glanced at the photo again. Something stirred in his chest, an unfamiliar sensation. "What's wrong with her?" Eleanor's voice cracked. "The medicine she needs, it's very expensive, but we have hope." Marcus knew exactly which medication she meant. His medication, his decision, his profit. He stared at Eleanor's weathered hands, still holding the cleaning cloth. For the first time in years, Marcus felt something break inside him. That night he couldn't sleep. He kept seeing Elena's face, Sophia's smile in that faded photograph. By morning, he'd made a decision. Marcus called an emergency board meeting. "We're dropping the price," he announced, "back to cost plus reasonable profit." The board erupted in outrage. "You'll bankrupt us," they screamed. "Then we'll find another way," Marcus replied quietly. Within hours, Marcus was fired, his reputation destroyed, his fortune lost, his yacht repossessed. But something extraordinary happened. News of his decision spread like wildfire. Parents who'd lost children to the disease started calling him a hero. A small biotech company, impressed by his courage, offered him a position, not as an executive, as a researcher. Marcus accepted, taking a 90% pay cut. His new job? Developing affordable treatments for rare diseases. Meanwhile, Elena received a call that changed everything. Sophia's medication was now affordable. That evening, as Elena tucked Sophia into bed, her daughter asked, "Mama, why did the medicine become cheap?" Elena smiled. "Because someone remembered that we're all connected, mija. When we help others, the universe helps us." 6 months later, Marcus was walking through Central Park when he heard a child's laughter. He turned to see a little girl running toward the playground, her mother following close behind. It was Sophia and Elena. Sophia was healthy, vibrant, completely transformed. Elena caught sight of Marcus and their eyes met. She walked over slowly, tears forming. "I know who you are," she whispered. "The whole community knows." Marcus braced himself for anger, for blame. Instead, Elena took his hands. "Thank you," she said simply. "Thank you for choosing love." Marcus began to cry. For the first time since childhood, he felt connected. He felt the weight of every decision, every consequence, every thread in the web of existence. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm so sorry it took me so long to wake up." Eleanor smiled. "The universe was always waiting for you to remember." Today, Marcus runs a nonprofit foundation. He's never been happier, never felt more alive. He lives in a small apartment, takes a subway to work, and finds joy in the simplest things. His new motto hangs above his desk: "Karma never sleeps, but it always forgives." Eleanor still cleans offices at night, but now she also volunteers at the foundation. She and Marcus work together, two souls who discovered that their destinies were intertwined long before they met. Sophia, she wants to be a doctor when she grows up. "To help people like Uncle Marcus helped me," she says. "The wheel keeps turning, the web keeps weaving, and karma never sleeps." This story illustrates one of the most profound truths Buddha taught 2,500 years ago. In the Dhammapada, the opening verse declares, "All that we are is the result of what we have thought. The mind is everything. What we think, we become." But karma isn't just about thinking, it's about the intention behind every action. Marcus's initial actions came from greed, disconnection, and the illusion of separation. He saw himself as separate from the suffering he caused. This is what Buddha called avidya, fundamental ignorance. Not ignorance of facts, but ignorance of our interconnectedness. Eleanor's actions, even in suffering, came from love, acceptance, and an intuitive understanding of universal connection. She never cursed Marcus, never wished him harm, never allowed bitterness to take root. This is prajna, wisdom that sees beyond the surface of things. The beautiful truth about karma is that it's not a cosmic punishment system. It's a teaching mechanism, a way the universe guides us toward awakening. Every consequence is an opportunity to learn. Every challenge is an invitation to grow. Every moment of suffering is a doorway to compassion. In the Lotus Sutra, Buddha teaches that all beings have the potential for enlightenment. Even Marcus, in his darkest hour, carried the seed of awakening. Elena's compassion watered that seed. Sophia's innocence called it forth. The universe conspired to help him remember who he really was. This is how karma works. Not through punishment, but through persistent, patient love. Consider the moment Marcus first saw Sophia's photograph. Why did his heart stir then? Why not earlier? Because karma had been preparing him, softening him, creating the conditions for awakening. Every sleepless night, every empty victory, every moment of disconnection had been building toward that instant of recognition. The Buddha taught that there are three types of karma: sanchita karma, the accumulated actions of all our past lives; prarabdha karma, the portion of past karma that manifests in this lifetime; and kriyamana karma, the karma we create in this very moment. Marcus couldn't change his past actions, but he could transform their consequences through present choices. This is the miracle of free will within the law of karma. We are not victims of our past. We are sculptors of our future. Every moment offers a fresh opportunity to plant seeds of wisdom rather than ignorance, compassion rather than cruelty, connection rather than separation. But here's the paradox that many miss. The moment we try to manipulate karma for personal gain, we create more karma. Marcus didn't help Sophia to earn good karma points. He helped because he finally saw the truth, that her suffering was his suffering, that her healing was his healing. This is what the Heart Sutra means when it says, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. There is no separate self to be punished or rewarded. There is only the one consciousness, experiencing itself through countless forms. Eleanor understood this intuitively. She never saw herself as a victim of Marcus's greed. She saw herself as part of a larger story, playing her role with grace and dignity. This is true surrender, not passive acceptance, but active participation in the divine play of existence. The Bhagavad Gita calls this karma yoga, the path of selfless action. When we act without attachment to results, when we offer our actions as worship, we transcend the binding power of karma. We become instruments of divine will rather than prisoners of personal desire. But what about justice? What about accountability? These questions arise from the ego's need for fairness, for balance, for someone to blame. True karma transcends human concepts of justice. It operates on a scale so vast, so intricate, that our limited minds cannot grasp its perfection. Marcus's suffering wasn't punishment, it was education. Elena's struggle wasn't unfair, it was sacred service. Sophia's illness wasn't random, it was the catalyst for two souls to remember their connection. Every thread in the tapestry serves the whole. This is why the Buddha taught that anger is like grasping a hot coal to throw at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. When we hold on to resentment, when we demand retribution, when we refuse to forgive, we bind ourselves to the very energy we're trying to escape. Eleanor's forgiveness wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. She understood that holding on to anger would only create more suffering for herself and Sophia. By releasing Marcus from her judgment, she freed herself from the prison of victimhood. This brings us to a crucial question. How do we work with karma consciously? How do we become conscious participants in this cosmic dance? The answer lies in a single word: awareness. Every moment, you're at a crossroads. Every thought, every word, every action sends ripples through the fabric of reality. The question isn't whether you're creating karma. You always are. The question is, what kind of karma are you creating? Are you planting seeds of separation or connection? Are you watering the roots of fear or love? Are you choosing the path of wisdom or the path of ignorance? These aren't abstract philosophical questions. They're practical, moment-to-moment choices that shape your reality. When someone cuts you off in traffic, do you respond with anger or understanding? When you see someone struggling, do you judge or extend compassion? When you face your own challenges, do you blame others or take responsibility? These small decisions create the trajectory of your life. They determine whether you'll be a Marcus in the first half of his story or a Marcus in the second half. They decide whether you'll embody Elena's grace or remain trapped in victimhood. The beautiful truth is that karma is always working in your favor. Even when life feels cruel, even when nothing makes sense, even when you're drowning in consequences of past choices, the universe is guiding you toward awakening. Every challenge is a teacher in disguise. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every moment of darkness is preparing you to appreciate the light. But you have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to grow. You have to be willing to forgive, starting with yourself. Marcus could have stayed bitter after losing everything. He could have blamed the board, the media, the system. Instead, he chose to see his downfall as a doorway to his true purpose. Eleanor could have become hardened by struggle. She could have raised Sophia to hate the world that seemed so unfair. Instead, she chose to trust in a larger plan, to believe in ultimate goodness. This is the secret that transforms karma from a burden into a blessing. When you align your will with the universe's will, when you serve something greater than your ego, when you love without conditions, you become a co-creator with the divine. You become an instrument of healing in a world that desperately needs it. You become living proof that karma never sleeps and that it always leads us home. So I ask you, what seeds are you planting today? What energy are you putting into the world? What legacy are you creating with your thoughts, words, and actions? Remember, the person you are in this moment is the result of countless choices made in countless moments before, and the person you become tomorrow is being shaped by the choices you make right now. The universe is listening, karma is watching, and your future self is counting on the wisdom you choose to embody today. If this message resonated with your heart, if you felt the truth of these words in your bones, then please share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Whispers of Dharma and ring that notification bell, because we're building a community of conscious souls who understand that we're all in this together. Leave a comment below. What's one way you can create positive karma today? How will you choose love over fear in your next challenging moment? And remember to save this video, because sometimes we need to be reminded that no matter how dark the night, the dawn always comes. The wheel of karma never stops turning, but with awareness, with compassion, with the courage to choose love, we can make sure it turns toward the light. Until next time, may you walk in wisdom, may you act in love, and may you always remember, you are exactly where you need to be.